Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is a video looking again into ceramics and how ceramics protect the wood. But this video is different than the other couple I made because it is actually meant to test them all, to give us the final answer about those ceramic products and how they protect the wood. If you watched my last video, I said that I am going to look into car ceramics and figure out if car ceramics work on wood and how well they work. And so I decided to do this video to test them all and to give us the answers that we're looking for. So what are we going to test? First of all, we're going to use the Blacktail ceramics. This is already tested, but we'll have it again as a control. Then we're also testing the Blackwood ceramic, which is a one-component liquid, not two components like the Blacktail one. We tested that already and we know it works. But again, we'll have it here to have a complete overview. I also bought a really cheap ceramic product for cars called Fantastic XML. Really cheap, about 15 bucks, 9H, and the H stands for hardness, so it is hard. Like the higher the number, the harder the ceramics get, the better it protects against scratches. So that's 9H. It's a one component product similar to the Blackwood one. Then we go up in H's. This is a brand called Rentis and it's 14H and 20H. So this is also for cars, but it gets harder, 14 and 20H. So we'll see if that makes a difference. Also one component. And then last but not least, we're testing something really funny, which is a ceramic meant against graffiti. It's an anti-graffiti ceramic, two-component like the Blacktail Studio, but this here is more expensive than the other car ceramics. But I figured I'll give it a try and see if that works. I applied those liquids onto oak, and as you can see in this picture here, there's no visual difference on any of those. I applied them all according to the instructions, and I'm not going to go into detail here about like how many layers and how much waiting time in between. That would be completely boring. So I'm only telling you I applied it according to the instructions so we can test that. All right, if you think this is really like transparent wine, then you're right, because it's not wine. This is a liquor based on strawberry. It's sweet, it has a lot of sugar in it, it's like sticky. And I currently don't have an open red wine and I didn't want to open one just for this test. But also I thought, well, the sugar and the stickiness is also something interesting to test, especially given that we have like this anti-graffiti product also. So I'm going to test it with this and I hope it works and we'll see. So I'm going to put a drop of this liquor on all those pieces of wood, and this time I'm not going to remove it after a minute and after 15 minutes because we all know or think to know that this product will protect the wood for such a short period of time. So we're skipping all of that and I will put it on here and leave it a couple of hours and then remove it and see if there's any difference. All right, let's do it. All right, that's it. I will let this sit here for a while and I'll come back and we'll see what happens. All right, 2 hours passed by and I'm going to clean this up and see if there's any difference. Let's do it. All right, this is all clean and it's kind of funny to report that all the ceramic product protected the wood against the liquid. There's no stains except for the one we treated with anti-graffiti ceramic. So I have no idea why, but the anti-graffiti ceramic product, which is more expensive, did not protect the wood as well as the others. And there's a little shade which you can see here on this picture. It's barely visible, but it is there. Conclusion is that, as I kind of like expected, all those ceramics products protect the wood against liquid. Even the cheap one, so this here, the Superior Crystal, this one here that comes in a bigger bottle, 50 milliliters, not only 1 ounce like the other ones, that cost 15 euro. They protect it really well. I can't see any difference to the black wood or the one from Blacktail. It's all the same. So that's interesting from a price point perspective, obviously. But there's another aspect which we're not able to test here, which is, well, how long do these products last, right? The product, there's a bunch of products. Well, let's move the anti-graffiti aside. From those products, only the Blacktail Studio one is a 2-component treatment, and here we have 4 layers on the wood, while these here, they have 2 layers. And so maybe the one from Blacktail is just lasts longer until it wears off, and these ones here like will be gone much quicker. So what I will try to do is simulate wear. Is I am going to basically take a polishing pad and for, let's say, 20 seconds, put the polish, yeah, maybe 20 seconds is a lot. Let's say 10 seconds. I will put the polishing pad with a machine on it and just basically simulate the wear that you have when you like rub it with your clothing and like with plates and stuff. And then afterwards, I will repeat the test to see if the effect is still the same. And if it's still all protected, I might just increase the amount of time I leave the polishing pad on the woods to see if we can get to a place where the ceramics wears off, and we can see if some of those products are more resistant to the wear than others. So yeah, let's continue to test. The anti-graffiti one I'm going to remove because we know that's no good. We're going to continue with the other 5. All right, so as you have seen, I tried to simulate wear by using a polishing pad for 10 seconds on each of these pieces. And I have never done this before. I don't know if that simulates wear or not. I don't know if that was too short or too long. I'm just flying blind here. I brought the pieces back, put a drop of red wine on them, and this has been sitting on them for about 2 hours, the same as the last time. And so now I'm going to clean them up, and I will not deny that I'm pretty excited and pretty curious to see if anything happens, if this is all still the same or if we see any differences. Let's try it. All right, so here's the thing. All 5 of them have slight red wine stains. There are some of them where the stain is more clearly visible. The 2 Rantis ones, so the 14H and the 20H car ceramics, are clearly the most notable. Then we have this cheap product, the 9H from Amazon, which has a small stain, but it's less visible than the other ones. And then we have the Blackwood, where you see a small stain, and also the Blacktail Studio, although I think the Blacktail Studio one is the one that has the least. So it's barely notable with the Blacktail Studio one. What does that tell us? It tells us that the way I simulated wear, like with that polishing pad for 10 seconds apparently was enough to remove part of the protection of the ceramics, which makes sense because all of those products tell you that you will have to recoat your objects after a while, after 1 or 2 years, that if you want to continue to have the protection, that you need to repeat the treatment. And that's likely because when you use it, when you put stuff on the table, like when you lean on the table, you rub it, these kind of things, it slowly wears off. And apparently that's the case for all of them, although the Blacktail Studio one may be a little bit less. But remember that in this case we have 4 layers of ceramics because we have 2 liquids which we apply twice each. What I'm going to do is I am going to sand these down and I'm going to repeat this treatment. And this time I'm going to apply 4 coats on each. So the Blacktail Studio, the way you need to do it, 2 and 2, and here of the same liquid, I will use 4 coats. That way we can compare the same amount of coats. And then I'm going to simulate the wear again, but maybe only with 5 seconds with a polishing pad, so we can see what the differences are. So this will take a while to do that. So what I'm going to do is I will publish this video so you see the first results, and I will do a follow-up video with the next stage of this experiment. So bear with me, hang in there. There will be more to learn. It's always with these kind of things, you learn along the way, and so we're still exploring. But for now, the interim conclusion is that car ceramics do protect wood against liquids, but they wear off, and we need to find a better way to simulate the wear, and we also need to improve the experimental setup so we actually compare apples and apples and not apples and oranges. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and then follow up in the next video.